Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Summertime fishing. Water temp is, let's find out, 80 degrees. That's pretty warm for us out here. 80 degrees is pretty warm, but we're gonna see what we can do out here. I don't know what's going on, have no idea what the bite is, but we're just gonna go fishing. Probably a junk fishing deal, maybe a big worm, maybe a Ned rig, maybe a drop shot, Texas rig, shaky head. I have no idea. Carolina rig, Topwater, who knows? We're just gonna go out here, go fishing, hopefully have some fun. Let's get it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do out here is throw the frog around. Why? Because it's fun. That's why. And we're gonna try to throw some topwater and get a topwater bite. Why? Because it's fun. That's what it boils down to, because it's fun. There we go. Yeah. That's fun. On the dogma, the smaller one. Ooh, it's a decent little fish. Decent one. There we go. Take that, a little topwater action first thing in the morning. Can't complain, that's fun. Boom! Dogma, topwater. Gotta love a little topwater bite. It's like one of the first topwater fish I've caught this summer here at home. It's crazy. One thing that I want to let you guys know about is this ESP rod, the 7.2 medium heavy ESP rod, is such a versatile reaction bait rod. It works great for the topwater. This is the smaller dogma. It works great for that. You can throw chatterbaits on this rod, spinner baits, crankbaits. You can do a lot of different things. Great reaction bait rod. 7.2 medium heavy ESP. 6censfishing.com. Use discount code Luna10. Well, that's a good start to the morning. Hopefully we can get a couple more in topwater, because that sure is fun. Caught that one on the pause, so I don't know if the pause has anything to do with it, or if it just gave that fish time to catch up to the bait or something. But nevertheless, you got to pay attention to those little nuances sometimes, because it can make or break whether you get bit or not. Well, this morning bite's been pretty tough. I got that one topwater fish, and that was it. That was the first cast I made with that topwater bait, and I thought that for sure that was gonna mean that I was gonna catch a bunch of fish on the topwater, but that just wasn't the case. They're super keyed in on that tiny bait, and there's a lot of bait in some of these areas, and they are just incredibly keyed in on that, and it's hard to get them to eat anything other than the real deal. So throwing these artificial baits just kind of makes it a little bit tough, but we're gonna grind it out and see what happens. There we go. There we go. Finally caught another fish. Come on, man. Come out from under the boat. There we go. The juggle minnow, shad eater. Little one, but hey, I'll take it. It's been tough today. So that last fish, I was just throwing this juggle down the bank, just kind of trying to cover some water, just see if I can run into one that's kind of chasing bait up on the bank. And that guy broke out in open water on the left side of my boat, and I was able to cast behind the boat and get that guy. He came up and smoked this thing. It was pretty cool. Fish on, Carolina rig fish. There we go. This guy fought hard. He pulled back really hard. There we go. That's a good one. Little 3-pounder, Carolina rig. Hogwalla. I think it's green pumpkin juice. A little 2.5er. Not bad. The guy smoked it too. That was rad. I haven't had a good Carolina rig bite like that in a while. A little bit of a junk fishing day for sure, guys. This bite's been super tough today. I don't have any kind of a pattern. Caught one on Topwater first thing, caught one on that juggle that was just real random. Now we got a Carolina rig fish. So one of those days, very, very random, no pattern whatsoever. We're just gonna keep fishing, keep trying to figure something out, keep making casts, and hopefully keep getting some bites. There we go, another one on the Carolina rig. Found a spot where I caught a couple. Carolina rig's so fun, guys. Such a fun way to catch them. It's one of my favorite things to do. Stay on, fish. Another little one, but it's fun, that's for sure. It's fun, that's for sure. Hogwalla. When I fish the Carolina rig, I like to fish it uphill. What that means is you sit up on the point and you cast out into deep water and bring it back uphill. I like to do that. It keeps the bottom contact really, really well. You're always in the cover. You're always in the structure that way. You're not pulling your weight up off the bottom or anything like that. You're always down on the bottom. You're dragging that thing uphill. There are times when those fish specifically want you to be going downhill. So sometimes if you know you should be getting bit and you're not, it's always a good idea to maybe turn around and throw and fish downhill. But most of the time I'm fishing uphill when I'm throwing this Carolina rig. There we go, another one. There we go. Carolina rig's doing it now. Just little ones, but fun summer day. Boom. There we go, guys. Little largemouth. Well, guys, this is why you just got to keep grinding and going and making casts and going to different spots, because you never know when you're going to find that spot where you're going to catch multiple fish and turn a real grind of a day into a solid day. There we go. Another one on the Carolina rig. Little one though. Fun still. Fun still. There we go. Well, we were able to salvage a tough day. That last spot produced for me some good Carolina rigged fish right there. We still got some time left to fish, but salvage of the day. It was really, really tough. I had that random fish on the juggle. I was just going down the bank with it and had a fish blow up outside my boat, cast it over there, got it to come back and eat the juggle. And then I just found some rock piles that had some fish on it and caught a few fish right off the same rock pile. So that was productive. Love throwing that hogwalla, love throwing that Carolina rig. It's one of my favorite ways to catch them. There we go. Got one. Just gotta have this thing at the ready, because you never know when they're gonna come up somewhere. Another one on the juggle. Fighting hard today. Fighting hard today. There we go. There we go. Another one. I'll take it. Fun. Having a good pair of sunglasses like Waterland Fishing Optics polarized sunglasses is going to help you see those darker areas where it could be grass, it could just be a shade line, it could be a brush line. Those are places where those fish hide out and ambush their prey, and that's where you need to cast your bait. So get a good pair of sunglasses like a pair of Waterlands. These are the Slaunch frames in the green mirror lenses. Head over to waterlandco.com, use discount code LUNA15. It's going to save you 15% off. There we go. Another one. There we go. That's a better one. At least better than the last one. This guy choked it though. He's bleeding. Well guys, today's been pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. Caught a handful of fish and just been fun. Been able to get bites here and there. Hasn't been like wide open or anything. We've caught a handful of fish, but it's still been kind of a struggle. Just one fish here, one fish there. You know, nothing that I can really pattern other than I'm getting consistent bites on the Carolina rig. Speaking of the Carolina rig, I want to go through my Carolina rig setup with you guys right now. What I'm threading on right now is my egg sinker, my glass bead, and then brass clacker. And then over here, I have my barrel swivel. I like to do the old school way where you have all these pieces. 6th Sense does have a Carolina pre-rig, which is pretty cool. It's basically everything you need for the Carolina rig already put together, so you don't have to add it onto the line, just tie the pre-rig right to your line. I'm gonna tie a Palomar knot right here. Bring that leader line all the way through. And then I'm gonna clip this end right here. And then I have the 6th Sense Hog Walla paired up with a 3/0 EWG hook. I think the 3/0 works really good with the Hog Walla. I think a 4/0 is just a little bit more hook than I like in there. I think it deadens a little bit of the action. And then I'm just gonna Palomar knot this again. Cut off that extra. And then I take this Hog Walla and then I'm going to Texpose it. So you just rig it like you would a regular Texas rig. Bring it right up and through. And then you have the hook point hanging out. And then I'm just going to take that plastic, pinch it up, and then put it so that point right inside. So what I have on the reel is 15-pound test fluorocarbon, and then on my leader line I have 12-pound test mono. I think that mono just helps it give a little bit more natural action. It's gonna float a little bit easier down there. This bait's not gonna be up off the bottom, but I feel like having it float just a little bit just keeps it a little bit higher up than everything else. I got the Carolina rig paired up on the 7.4 heavy unicorn rod with the Daiwa Tatula SV. This is my go-to Carolina rig setup. If you see me throwing a Carolina rig here at home, this is the setup I got going. There we go. I saw one come up and just barely make a boil. So I threw this juggle out there and it just came up and got that bait. Feels like a decent one. Oh no, it's a little one. It's just fighting nice and good. Little one on the juggle. So as I've been fishing out here today, there's something that I've kind of keyed in on, is this Carolina rig bite, and then there's some sporadic fish chasing bait. For whatever reason, some of these fish are eating the Carolina rig with this Hog Walla, and then sometimes these fish just for a second come up and eat the bait. And then what I see is just like a little boil out there. You can see the fish jump or something, and then I just grab that juggle as fast as I can, throw it over into the area where that fish broke, and I have been able to get them to come back and eat that juggle, and it's really kind of gave me a few extra fish that if I didn't have that thing ready to go, I wouldn't have caught them. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're out fishing and you're fishing something slow, but every once in a while those fish are breaking, just have something ready to throw on them. There we go. There we go. Carolina rig again. They're loaded up on this spot. Loaded up on this spot. There we go. And when they eat it, they smash it. Like, I don't get like a bite, like a traditional thunk. It's just they grab it and go. They're inhaling it and going. I guess we found some sort of a pattern out here. The Carolina rig's getting bit very, very consistently. I was trying to throw a big worm earlier in the day, and I just don't think they want that right now for some reason. I had a bite on it, like first cast with it, and then I broke a fish off, but eventually I switched over to that Carolina rig, and man, ever since I started throwing that thing, those fish have just been munching on it, and it's been super fun. So I decided to pick up a jig because in the summertime, I always find myself throwing the Carolina rig, and you can get big bites with the Carolina rig, but the jig generally is going to get you better bites than a lot of other baits. Jig usually gets above average fish. Sometimes it's hard to get a lot of bites with the jig, but usually when you get a bite with the jig, it's a good one. So just trying to throw it in the summertime because that's just something I don't normally do. I throw it in the wintertime a lot, and I think I need to give it a shot in the summertime, so we're going to give it a go today. There we go. Got one on the jig. There we go. Decent one. Only got 12-pound test on here. Stay on, fish. I think it's the best one I've caught today. Probably. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. Dual molds jig. The old Arky jig right there. Love that thing. The thing about the Arky jig, I started throwing the Arky jig when I went to Iowa last year with the dual molds crew, and we were throwing the Arky head jig a lot around the wood and everything. So I figured today, with all the brush and everything in the water, a lot of the rock piles have brush on them, so I figured I'd throw that Arky jig on there and just make it a little bit more compact, because for whatever reason the fish like a smaller jig here. And put it on there, came to one of my first little areas with the jig, got a good one, so that's good. Well guys, that's pretty darn cool right there. Getting a bite on the jig is always super fun. I don't really throw a jig very often in the summertime, which is probably not smart. There's usually a jig bite in the summer somewhere. I've never really got on that bite. I always throw the Carolina rig, but sometimes that jig will just get better bites than the Carolina rig will. Like that last fish was definitely better than those Carolina rig fish that I've been catching, so probably a good idea that I picked that jig up. Well guys, today has been good so far. I think we got time for about one more spot before we got to get out of here. I think I'm going to throw that Carolina rig around a little bit more, see if we can't get one more fish before we get out of here. But no matter what, how this last spot ends up, the day has been productive. It's definitely been one of the better days I've had out on the water so far. I don't even know that I've caught 10 fish today. I've probably got close to 10 fish, but guys, for whatever reason, this year has been incredibly tough on me. Tournament-wise, fun fishing-wise, I just haven't really been able to get out here and have some of those high numbers days, and today was kind of refreshing because we were able to get bit consistently throughout the day. Well guys, the Carolina rig was the deal today, and it was pretty fun out there fishing it. And if you want to learn more about my Carolina rig setup, make sure to click on the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.